Hi friends, it's Jason, and today I wanted to talk about a book from, I would say, probably one of my current favorite fantasy authors, and that would be The Fury of the Gods by John Gwynne. It is the final book in the Bloodsworn series, and as you can see behind me, John Gwynne is very much someone that I enjoy reading. I've got 10 books by John Gwynne, and I've enjoyed every single one of them. Now, this is a 3-book series. It is Nordic inspired, and it is actually very, very enjoyable. They have absolutely fantastic covers on these books. I don't necessarily like some of the decisions they've made with some of the fonts and the layouts of the titles because I find it takes away from the cover. I think the best one was probably the first one, where the writing did not interfere with the actual photo, whereas in the later books, the next two, it kind of took away from the picture a little bit because you don't really focus on the size of the ship down here as much as you would if the writing wasn't there, like you did in the first book with this guy down here, which is I'd love to have that as a poster on the wall. That would be so amazing. But one thing I wanted to mention in this series that John Gwynne does that I very much like. At the start of the book, of course, fantasy novel, we have a map, which makes perfect sense. But also in here, there is a glossary, there is a cast of characters, and there is a cast of evil creatures, or a creature list, which is fabulous when it comes to something like this. Also, at the beginning of this book, there is a summary of the previous 2 books, which is fantastic. Thank you, Orbit, for putting that in there. I can't say enough about putting a summary of a long series, which this has been a long series, because we read a lot of books in between, say, book 2 and book 3 in this series. We, heavy readers, we read a lot of books, and sometimes the details aren't clear. So having that summary in there is fantastic. Now, the premise of this story, for those that haven't read the first 2 books, is we follow Orca, who is, and I should say this is a Nordic-inspired story, and we follow Orca, who used to be a warrior in a group called the Bloodsworn, and that's what this series is called. It's called the Bloodsworn series, and her husband is killed at the beginning of the first book, and her son is kidnapped and taken away. And she is a very, very accomplished warrior, and she used to actually be the leader of the Bloodsworn. They used to call her Orca Skull Splitter, and she has a great deal of battle fame, and everybody knows who she is. So there are a lot of things going on in this book. Some people are working to resurrect, I guess you could say, the dead gods, which, you have a wolf god and a rat god and a dragon god, and there's a bunch of different ones. And some of the characters in this series, they have the blood of their gods in them, and it gives them this little extra a bit of ability. And throughout this series, you see that come to the fore, and you really see it when it within this book. Now, the final book is I don't want to say it was the perfect conclusion to the series. With all the buildup that was created throughout the entire series, but it is a very, very good conclusion to this series. And I will tell you right now, John Gwynne writes a textbook, I'll probably read it, because he is fabulous at this style of book, and his battle scenes are like so intricate, so well written. You feel like you're there, you feel like you're experiencing it. And as Orca goes off to avenge the death of her husband and rescue her son Brecca, throughout these 3 books, there are all kinds of things going on. There's betrayal. There is... there's just so much going on that I can't even describe it all. But this is a very good series that takes you throughout this journey, and all the people that she interacts with. She ends up reconnecting with the Bloodsworn. That's a hard word to say quickly. Bloodsworn. But she does end up reconnecting with them and making new friends. There's new alliances. There's some really unique creatures in this series, and it's theme correct. Like they describe the battle axes as if, you know, they were in Nordic Viking times, the sea axes, which are kind of a sword machete type thing, and they're the descriptions of the characters, their armament, their weapons, the boats, and the world around them is very well described. So it's a series that if you're into fantasy, if you're into Nordic fantasy, I definitely recommend this series. And this was a very good conclusion to this 3-part series, and I very much look forward to whatever John Gwynne writes next. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, check out the Bloodsworn series that starts with Shadow of the Gods and concludes with the Fury of the Gods. And I will say I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you again next time.